February 27, 2026. The Essential Buddha Dhamma, translated and edited by Bruce Evans. The teachings and the practice of the Way of the Elders, Theravada Buddhism, the Southern Buddhism. Today we're going to finish off chapter 9, and it's page 553 to page 564. Preparing panya, wisdom. Even if wealth is gained, independence is not lost. Not only do we need to reflect on wealth, it's not in itself the goal, the objective. We must also know the limitations of the value of wealth and the necessity of seeking out that which is higher value. As for this example, we work, knowledge and truth, morality, and a full life. All beings are purified by these things, not through family name or wealth. I see people in this world who have wealth, having obtained wealth, not sharing it because of their attachment to wealth. They only amass it and desire more and more sensual pleasures. A king who invades and conquers a land, who has power over the land, is not content with only this side of the ocean. He wants to obtain the far shore of the ocean as well. The king and many other people who have not yet done away with ambition, reach their depths. Still feeling unsatisfied, they discard their bodies. There is no satisfaction on account of sense pleasure in this world. The relatives let down their hair and wail for that person, saying, "Oh, our dear one has departed." They wrap the body in white and throw it away in the fire, or the funeral pyre, and burn it, to be poked with sharp sticks by the funerary attendants until it is all burned. The deceased are left with only one piece of cloth and discard all their wealth. When one dies, no relatives, friends, or associates can prevent it. That person's wealth is carried away by their heirs. Beings fare according to their karma. At death, not even a little of wealth can be taken with them. It is the same for the children, for the wives, for wealth and property. All does not live long on account of wealth. One cannot destroy old age with wealth. The wise, the Pandit, says life that is little, not lasting, and subject to change. Both those who have and those who have not experience contact, pasa. Both fools and the wise are affected just as the same, but the fool, because his lack of wisdom, sleeps in fear. The wise person, even though affected by contact, does not tremble. For this reason, panya, wisdom, is more excellent than wealth, because it is the cause for attaining the highest goal in this world. An important tool for conducting samma ajiva, right livelihood, is education, professional knowledge, skills, or work ability. We are cautioned to put effort into education, and parents are instructed to see it to their duty to allow their children to obtain an education. Even so, having professional knowledge or work skill alone is not enough. We are therefore instructed to have bahu satcha, being one who has heard much, who has broad learning, to help expand the range of application of one's education so that we can develop a broad understanding that allows us to see things in a more profound way. In particular, having the knowledge of things that lead to right view, samma titi, which is the real source of sutta learning. At the same time, we should train in discipline in order to be ready to use education in an honest manner and have good general behavior that is conducive to living with others, and train ourselves to be able to talk and consult effectively so as to broaden the avenues for our lives. This principle is illustrated in the Buddha Vasana statements as being one who has heard much, bahu satcha, professionalism or vocational ability, sipa, good discipline, vinaya, well-spoken words. These are the supreme blessings. Having no unfinished business, this is the supreme blessing. Blameless endeavors, this is the supreme blessing. See to your children's education. Learn what should be learned. You should learn and study everything, be it low, be it high, be it middling. Know and understand the meaning of it all. You may not have to use all of it, but one day the time will come when that knowledge will be useful. In regard to the supreme blessings cited above, broad learning, bahu satcha, should be coupled with practical skill. That is, to be in good terms of both knowledge and ability. When these two qualities are present, excellent in work can be expected. Success is even more assured if one is endowed with good discipline and is skilled in speech, knowing how to speak effectively. When augmented by good and efficient work practices or not leaving things unfinished, and by doing useful activities, this is even more guaranteed of success and fulfillment in one's work in life. In order to prevent the loophole of merely revealing in one's own knowledge and work to the extent that one forges one's obligations to one's dependents, to further blessings are added, namely supporting one's parents and taking care of one's wife and children. One's personal obligations are taken care of. The dakinaya pugala, the one worthy of respect, the noble disciple, considered further the obligations one has to helping others, ultimately to all human beings. Therefore, 3 more blessings are added in the gap afterward, namely, nati sanghaha, supporting one's relative, dana, charity or giving, sharing outwardly, and dhammacharya, principal conduct. By having such conduct, this is sufficient for one to be called one who is leading a good life in this world. In regard to ajiva, livelihood, it should be useful to summarize once again that Buddhism accepts and asserts the necessity of material things, in particular to the 4 requisites or necessity as illustrated in the words often spoken by Gautama Buddha. Sabe sata arahatika, all beings are sustained by food. Even so, the real necessity lies between the boundaries of what is required to maintain the physical body in the condition that is suitable for its normal functioning, that is free of harm resulting from lack of excess, free of disease, safe from dangers, and faring in comfort. The value and the importance of material things are flexible, being related to social conditions and individual factors, such as wisdoms of the benefits and harms and the limitation of material things, and the ability to experience a more refined kind of happiness than material happiness. For this reason, Buddhism is not interested in regulating an equal amount of material things for all people, Buddhism is rather more interested in laying down a minimum standard, which is that all people should have a sufficiency for the four necessities to survive comfortably. Over and above that, Buddhism allows the use of material things as per their availability and people's level of intelligence, within the bounds of what does not harm others or oneself. This means that to have a happy life, people with lower mental development may desire more material things, or their lives will be more dependent on having material pleasures than those who have a higher level of mental development. Having a life that is free, not overly dependent on material things, one that is based on wisdom of the harm or faults of material things, is called Atitnawa Dasari. And the wisdom that frees one is called Nisarana Panya. Nisarana Panya. One who has wisdom knows the various kinds of harm in material wealth and sensual pleasures. By their very nature, these things lack any perfection that would be capable of really feeling our desires, because they have the nature of impermanence, anicca, instability, and changeability. No one is able to truly own them. They do not truly lie within one's power and ultimately must disappear. With this understanding, one can make use of material things according to their real use or the value of life, using wealth so that it is beneficial to life and other people, and practicing the four principles for integration. It is not wealth for the sake of ever greater wealth, for increased enjoyment or personal pleasure. Householders who are industrious in jiva, livelihood, and obtain wealth honestly, using their wealth generously, taking responsibility for others and using their wealth beneficially, are highly praised in Buddhism. They are said to have been victorious both in this world and the next. The more they possess the wisdom that liberates them, the more they are regarded as excellent, as truly free persons. These people, even if they are noble ones of the level of Sotapanna, a stream enterer, or even a once returner, an anagami, making a living, attending to their responsibility, does not appear as a householder or encouraged to just live day by day, neglecting their livelihood and responsibility, which they can be called being attached to the non-attachment. The Sangha, the community, as the community of the free, both in life and in mind. The Sangha is a community that exemplifies a life lived with minimal material possessions, utilizing specific social conditions so that the bhikkhus, the monks, can live a lifestyle that allows them to devote their time and energy fully to the activities related to the Dhamma. They do not need to worry about looking for material things and make themselves easy for the householders to support, and thereby maintain the free community that transcends as much as possible the influence of social systems. All bhikkhus, all monks, may they be arihats or unenlightened beings, live in a life based on the principles of minimal material supports for the maximum gains in terms of the Dhamma. Nowhere is it said that Gautama Buddha wished lay people to live like bhikkhus, or that the people should become renunciants. The fact of nature clearly shows that at any time people live in various levels of development and therefore have different needs. Many Sotapanna or stream enterers live householder lives. Emphasis is said that just by upholding the pancha sikha, the five precepts, you could actually realize stream entry and become a sotapanna. Many stream enterers live household lives. The essence of these principles would seem to be having a free community within the wider society as force for the Dharma, to nourish the Dharma within society and to be a source of encouraging freedom from the influence of social factors to those who desire it and are ready to seek liberation. This community consists of both a formal community and an abstract community. The formal free community is a Bhikkhu Sangha, known in the Pali language as Samadhi Sangha, conventional Sangha, which is embedded within, yet removed from, the wider community of householders. The abstract free community is a Savaka Sangha, or Ariya Sangha, which is made up of noble ones, both householders and renunciants, who are embedded within, yet removed from, in the wider society of unenlightened beings. This is tantamount in saying that the idea of society is not one in which all people are the same. Such a society cannot exist. The idea of society is one in which people, with their different levels of intellectual development, are advancing towards the same goals, can live together in harmony, even with their differences. It is also a society where there is suitable alternative if they do not wish to live in that broader society. With the Bhikkhu Sangha, being able to maintain material freedom requires a lifestyle that is supported by few material things, which must be coupled with mental virtues that enable one to live within such a lifestyle. The important quality is that its evidence in such a lifestyle is contentment with little, santosa. This is the quality that Gautama Buddha emphasized for all bhikkhus or renunciants or monks. With santosa in terms of material things, bhikkhus can fully focus on their time, their energy, and their thought on practicing for mental liberation. As it is shown, is an important teaching given by Gautama Buddha, called the traditions of the noble ones, Arya Vamsa. Arya Vamsa. Bhikkhus, a monk in the teaching and the discipline is one content with whatever robes he is given, and is one who praises contentment with whatever robes are given. He is not given to seeking in wrongful ways on account of robes. If he does not obtain a robe, he is not troubled. If he obtains a robe, he is not attached, deluded, or engrossed by it. He uses that robe heedful of its dangers and has the wisdom that liberates him. Moreover, he does not exalt himself or disparage others on account of his contentment with whatever robes are offered. Any bhikkhu who is clever, not lazy, who is fully aware and firm mindfulness, is contentment with robes, is said to be one who is established in the ancient noble lineage. Moreover, a bhikkhu, a monk, is one contented with whatever alms food is given. Moreover, a bhikkhu is contentment with whatever dwelling he is given. Moreover, a bhikkhu, a monk who is delighted in developing skillful qualities, is one who praises the development of skillful qualities. He is delighted in the ban of unskillful qualities, is one who praises the banishing of unskillful qualities. Moreover, he has not exalted himself or disparaged others on account of being delighted in development of skillful qualities, on account of being one who praises skillful qualities, on account of being delighted in the banning of unskillful qualities, and the account of this being one who praises the banishment of unskillful qualities. Any bhikkhu or a monk who is clever, not lazy, who is fully aware and firm, mindful in such cultivation and cutting off of, is said to be one who is established in the ancient noble lineage. To summarize here, the commentators have collated or collected the classified sila, morality for bhikkhus and monks, into 4 types. They call this 4 types Parisutta Sila, the purifying Sila, or the four kinds of pure conduct can be classified as sila. The first one is patimokkha sambara sila. The sila restraint in the patimokkha, the code of monastic conduct, refraining from injunctions and following the allowances, strictly following the rules. This kind of sila is said to be accomplished through sattva, faith. Second, indriya sambara sila, the sila, restraint of the faculties, being careful to prevent unskillful qualities such as like and hatred, attachment or aversion, or overwhelm the mind, which become aware of sense impressions via ayatana, the six senses: the eye seeing forms, the ear hearing sounds, the nose sensing odors, the tongue tasting flavors, the body senses bodily contact, the mind sensing thoughts. This kind of sila is said to be accomplished through mindfulness. The third is ajiva parisutta sila, the sila of purity of livelihood. This is to maintain the livelihood in proper ways, not engaging in wrongful ways of seeking, such as not falsely bragging of superhuman attainment, such as bragging about jhana, bragging about vimokkha, bragging about samadhi, bragging about samapatti, bragging about magga, bragging about bala, or even bragging about nibbana. One does not possess, not requesting foods for one likes if one is not sick, not engaging in deception. One is putting on a show of strict practice in order to inspire people to make offerings, not engaging in gratiating oneself in the householders for livelihood, not engaging in employing various devices, approaches to obtain offerings, not engaging in threatening and hounding for offerings, not engaging in exchange, such as giving something small in the hope of getting many offerings. This kind of sila is said to be accomplished through effort, vidya. The fourth one is pachaya sanisiti sila. The sila relations to the four support, pachaya pachavekana, accompanied by the use of the four supports with contemplation of their meaning and benefit, on their true value, not using them out of desire. This means eating food to nourish the body, for good health, for comfort and convenient performance of one's duties, enables to progress into the threefold trading, Titso Sika. This kind of Sika is said to accomplish through wisdom. Furthermore, some final observations. Returning to the subject of householders. Upaso upasika. It is said to be useful to summarize here with some of the practices in relation to wealth. From the individual perspective, one should practice according to Gautama's Buddhist practice of praising those wealthy people who have acquired their wealth as the result of their own honest, diligent efforts, and who use their wealth in wholesome and useful ways. That is, he gave praise for being a good person rather than having wealth. The tendency to praise people merely because they are rich, seeing them as having merit, accumulated through past actions in previous lives, and not looking at the causes of the wealth in the present life, is a wrong application of the Buddha's teaching on two fronts. It is not following the Buddha Vasana ways of described above. It is not using panya, wisdom, to consider the entire stream of factors. The factor of the present life, in particular, are more closely related, so they must be given consideration of more importance. As for previous karma, it helps only in terms of the previous supporting foundation, such as physical attributes, aptitudes, intelligence, and character. The point that Gautama Buddha praised the terms of the individual in good karma, which is the cause for desirable results. When someone is born into wealth and abundance, that person do not be praised for it. In the Buddhist views, this is considered to be capital, a good foundation that supports that person with opportunity. I would say to provide them with an advantage for the purpose of this life. The results of old karma are done with new beginnings is made. The point that is criticized or praised by Gautama Buddha for the kind of person is how they deal with the capital or good foundation. In other words, it is not wealth or being rich that the Buddha Gautama praised or criticized, but the actions of the wealthy people and how they utilize their wealth. Now, from the social perspective, according to Buddhism, wealth is a tool or a factor for supporting life, not the goal of life. From the social perspective, therefore, wealth should be a tool for greater human convenience and readiness to lead a good life with good actions in order to attain greater good. Whatever wealth arises for whatever person it should arise for, the welfare for all people, becoming the factor for supporting people, is to be able to lead good lives and be ready to do greater good. According to this principle, when the wealth arises for one person, it means wealth that has arisen for the humanity or for society. When one person becomes wealthier, society grows in prosperity. Therefore, wealth arising for one person is equal to arising for society. A good person who becomes wealthy is like a good field in which the rice grows beautifully for the benefit of all. A wealthy person, according to the principle, should be glad and content that one has been able to act as an agent or to have received the honor of being entrusted by society to support wealth, to help support one's fellows. Conversely, if any person gains wealth, but as the result, society deteriorates and fellow humans are in greater suffering, this indicates a wrong application of wealth. Wealth does not become a helping factor according to its objectives. In no long time, that society will become disorderly. In the end, either the wealthy will not be able to live in it, or society will be unsustainable, or both. The society may strip them from power and establish another system to procure wealth, and appoint new custodians of their wealth, for better or for worse. Now, from the government perspective, Buddhism acknowledges that the importance of wealth in worldly society because poverty is one kind of dukkha in the world, suffering in the world. Hardship and destitution and significant causes for crime and various kinds of social evils. Buddhism considers it a duty of the government or the rulers of the land to see that wealth is distributed to those in need, so that there is no poverty. This requires various methods as appropriate to the situation. In particular, it requires creating opportunities for the common people to make good, honest living, supporting vocations, managing capital and equipment in accordance with the four bases for unity, and preventing injustice, that is, all kinds of actions and methods that are immoral, unjust, and exploitative. The state that should hold to the principle and reduction of elimination of property or poverty are better measures of progress than to increase of wealthy persons. And the reduction of hardship comes from social administration that does not neglect human development. Now, from the economic and political perspective, it is often asked whether economic or political systems are correct or incorrect according to Buddhism. It is not something that Buddhism is obliged to answer. We should say that whatever system is practiced according to Buddhist principles is the correct one according to Buddhism. The various economic systems are matters of methodology. Buddhism recognizes that methodologies can vary according to environmental or temporal factors. We must first be addressed are the principles and objectives. The essence of wealth and the possessions is that they are tools for supporting factors to assist people to organize their lives so that they are convenient and conducive to harmony, and to have a greater preparedness for doing good actions and attaining good objectives. Wherever or to whomever wealth arises, it is a rising of supporting factor in society, enabling all people to be able to lead better and more fruitful lives. Whatever economic or political system is able to bring about a successful attainment of results as per these principles and objectives is in accordance with Buddhism. It is easy to understand how methodologies and subject to environmental and temporal factors. For example, in the Buddhist time, when Gautama Buddha was establishing the Sangha as a community with specialized duties and specialized objectives, he established a rule for bhikkhus and monks were not to have any personal wealth apart from the 8 accessories. But he allowed wealth for the Sangha community as community or share assets. At the same time, in worldly society, which at the same time, Jambutivita region consists of the states that are ruled by 2 forms of governments. This is in Bharat, in ancient Bharat. He taught the conditions of welfare for those states governed by solidarity and republics, and those duties of great kings for the state ruled by monarchs. This is also illustrated another feature of Buddhism. It is not merely a philosophy or a matter of thought. Gautama Buddha had to give teachings that the people in the time could put to use and benefit from it in the present time. If we were to wait until we had the first created the ideal systems, which is in effect would only be a system that was hoped to be the best, before using the ideal system to create happiness for people, how could it escape being an abstract and creditless kind of practice? Since there were both republics and kingdoms at that time, Gautama Buddha had to help people to live happily under both systems. So, you see, for the systems of republics, he emphasized that those in governance should see their rank and power as tools for creating benefit and happiness for people, not as tools for procuring personal gratification. So, you see, for kingdoms in the monarchical system, he recommended principles and methodologies for carrying out duties and strength, stability, and effectiveness. Now, during the time when the monarchical systems was developing to its highest form, this kind of Buddhist approach became a principle of government of Asoka the Great, as shown in one of his edicts. Quote, His Royal Majesty Pitya Dasi, that is King Asoka, beloved of the Devatas, does not hold much value in glory or fame, except where the glory and the fame are held for this objective, that both in the present and in the future may the people heed my teaching and practice according with the law of eternal Dhamma, unquote. That's the end of chapter 9, at the end of page 564. Now we're about to go into chapter 10. And chapter 10 is right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. The concentration factors of the Majjhima Patipata. Essential Buddha Dhamma, translated and edited by Bruce Evans.